broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Intense, dramatic. Quantico! Hello, everybody. I hope you're feeling the intensity right now because I so am. Welcome to AfterBuzz. I am your host, Kanika Lal, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at Kanika Lal, Instagram at YouCanHaveItLal. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of a very new show on ABC, Quantico. Wow, a lot of intense drama happened tonight. I'm so excited to get into it with you guys. It did premiere last night, Sunday, September 27th, but we are recapping a day later, so hope you can catch up with us. Again, I am Kanika Lal, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host for tonight. Any cricket noise? Crickets? Crickets? Point is that I do not have any co-hosts for tonight. Yes. I am solo. Unfortunately, they could not make it, so it's just me, but I'll hopefully bring the energy of 4 people. We have a full panel next week, so if you do not like my opinions or my thoughts, if I missed a bunch of stuff, I apologize in advance. I apologize if I'm going slow, but we will have a 4 full-person panel to, have more thoughts and opinions on the show. So let's get into it. Please keep commenting because I actually really want to know what were your first thoughts on this show. To be honest, for me, I always have doubts. I don't know why. Just as of late, I've always had doubts about ABC shows, just network shows in general, just because of the new hype of like Netflix and Hulu creating their own original content. I feel like, network TV has something to live up to. But actually, I was very surprised. I really did enjoy this show, and I'm looking forward to more. It just has so many twists and turns. And let's be real, the real reason why I actually wanted to watch it was because Priyanka Chopra, none other than the big Bollywood star, is a leading actress. That's obviously that's one of the main hypes of Quantico. Their main marketing tools is using a Bollywood star as a lead. And of course, me being Indian, I was so damn proud. I was very impressed by her performance. So I'd actually love to know what you guys think about, even if you don't know her, how was she as an actress? And if you do know her from her Bollywood films, please do share, because I was actually pretty impressed that she was able to balance her American accent with her Indian accent. So this episode was called Run, episode 1, pilot. And pretty much we get the opening scene of course, Priyanka Chopra's character. Her name is Alex Parrish, a very white name. Oh well, I mean, her dad was white, so I guess she's half. Anyways, so we pretty much get her, the thing about the show, there was a lot of flashback kind of present day, and that's a theme that's used in a lot of TV shows, I'm noticing. It's a very old theme to use, but I kind of like it. We kind of get her development as she's, they're trying to learn, okay, who was behind the 9/11 attacks. We're learning who did she meet at the FBI Academy. So we get this scene of 9/11 attack, and she happens to be in the middle of it and all the rubble. It's actually interesting because she even mentioned in some interviews that the first opening scene was her wearing an Om bracelet. And she uses that same Om bracelet when she was growing up, using it on essays and homework assignments, and as she grew up, all the big premieres. So it's kind of nice that she had that cultural thing stick with her through the show. That was a pretty sweet touch. And then we kind of get a flashback of her. So after the rubble scene, we get a flashback of her leaving her house, and we find out that she's lying to her mom about going to the airport, not the train station where her mom thinks she's going. Her mom thinks she's going to Mumbai to stay with family. In fact, she's actually going to the airport. We realize why later. So we get the scene of her in the airport, and then she happens to be sitting next to some fine gentleman by the name of Ryan Booth on the airplane. He's played by Jake McLaughlin, if I'm pronouncing that right. And there's a lot of sexual tension that's kind of building up in the airplane, of course. He tells her that he's visiting family. And she tells him that she's on a mission to go to Doctors Without Borders. We both find out later that they're both lying. So we get that, sexual tension, blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of opens up to all the different FBI agents who we see will gather together. We get shots of Nima's character, who goes to the gas station, and she kind of grabs something from the gas station's bathroom. We get Simon's character, who happens to be gay, and I think he like met someone on Tinder, so they quickly snap a photo in New York. We get Shelby's character, and we also get what's his name? Now I'm forgetting. He was the one who... Brian J. Smith's character. Eric's character. So we kind of get the feeling of, okay, these are all the characters we're going to meet. Their separate lives are going to be coming together. And then, of course, we see a sex scene by Alex and Ryan getting some hot, heated sex. And because there was a lot of sensual tension in the car, that was just like really, oh, thanks for that. And I think we're starting to see that, at least for me, I could tell early on that there's going to be some romance happening. It's going to be hidden. But she, right off the bat, just tells him, you're not my type. And she kind of like gets him to the T, like kind of figures him out. And he was like taken aback, and she wouldn't even tell him his name because, again, these are all very secretive characters. So they leave it at that. But then we do get the introduction of the FBI Academy, which is taking place in Quantico. So we realize that he's there, Brian is there, Alex is there, and all the other characters we were introduced to in the beginning. They're all at the academy, and they see each other, and they're like, crap. I think I saw a comment about someone, I'm tackling this alone. Sorry to side note, but thanks. I am very brave, and I'm still nervous, but I'm trying to go through this. And then as we see that they're in the academy, we also get another flash forward of Alex, right? And the FBI, the police pretty much take her, and they're like, what are you doing, etc., etc. Let's take you in. Let's get your story. And we later on realize they actually want her to give them more information on who could be behind the attacks. We'll get into that a little bit later. So it's interesting because a lot of things that I would see in the articles about this show is not only about Priyanka Chopra's fame, a lot about that. You can see her billboards all over, buses. But a lot of the comments are that this is a good-looking cast. And I have to agree. Like, we see Graham Rogers. We see Shelby, who's played by Johanna Brody, Jake McLaughlin, the Sense8 actor, like I said, Brian J. Smith, who's also on Gossip Girl. So it's interesting, actually, because these characters, of course, you have a lot of intensity, but you also have a lot of comic relief. And I love that. I think that's really important. It's a good balance. So I kind of like seeing each person's quirks. And I think my favorite character, please feel free to give me your feedback on who your favorite character is. It would have to be Simon. He brings comic relief. I like Caleb too, but Simon just has like that cute, nerdy, everybody wants to be your best friend kind of attitude. So I really like him. And yeah, so pretty much we get more of we also get an interesting character, Nima, who's very, very intense. And Simon is actually kind of like onto her, figuring out why she's so intense. She wouldn't really give him his name. So I actually really like the dynamic and the chemistry between these characters. So I'm really interested in seeing how they will play out, actually. So while we get that, I think I pretty much already went over that they're asking Alex who did it. They have the whole name of all of the... Sorry, I forgot the guy who's asking... Sergeant somebody is asking Alex during the flash... present tense, who is behind it. I forgot his name, but pretty much I'm going to name him Sergeant David John. Okay, so Sergeant David John is asking Alex about all these who could be behind it. So while that's happening, the present day, we get more of the flashback, and we actually see character developments behind the boss. The boss is Miranda Shaw. And her kind of, not her understudy, but the deputy Liam O'Connor. And I like also, besides the chemistry relationship between the characters, is also the chemistry, the character development in terms of how much, secrets they're holding. And what each episode will probably uncover so much more layers of each person. So I think that's interesting. We got some layer of the boss, Miranda, and Liam. They actually had a relationship. In fact, she's his boss, and she's the one who fought for him to have the position of being a deputy. So if he makes any mistake, he's out of there. So another thing that a lot of news articles were saying is, besides the good-looking cast and Priyanka Chopra, is the femininity of the show. Femininity. Female power. There's a lot of that. I mean, obviously Alex Parrish is taking over the show. She's the lead and she's the front runner, but the boss is actually the one in charge, and she has that power to kind of make the calls. And we see a lot of her power in the end too. So for all you girls out there, female power, girl power. Looks like there's some call coming in. Do I take that? I don't know. I don't want to be distracted. Anyways, are we taking this call? No, we're not. Okay, so now we go, now we pretty much also see a lot of the skill sets from the FBI agency, so we get a little bit of a tour of the academy in Quantico. Actually, which is, I have to say, no, it's pretty nice, the academy. In fact, this show makes me kind of want to go into the FBI training because, I don't know, it's so badass. Like, Alex's character is so badass, but we'll discuss more about the characters in the end. Yeah, so like I said, Simon's kind of on to Nima about her hijab. He's wondering, why are you wearing it this side? Sometimes you wear it this side. So we're seeing that Nima also has a secret, which we find out a little bit later in this episode. And the FBI pretty much, the training academy has these FBI agents doing a project pretty much. They each have to kind of train how to kind of crack someone else. So each person has a partner. They each choose files from one another. So we see Eric, who Caleb takes charge of. We see Shelby, who took charge of Shelby now? Now I'm forgetting. Now I'm forgetting who took charge of Shelby, but I remember her past. Then we see Simon, of course, taking on Nima. Jake, you're really making me have a nice show. Thanks so much for your added audio. And then Ryan on Alex, of course. Ryan Booth took Alex. So we kind of get, before we get more into these characters and their secrets, Caleb is kind of teasing Eric this whole time. He's saying, "Oh, interesting. Like, you're the agent from Manila, and you were recruited. Wow. So you're kind of like the top guy here. You're impressed. Like, you're someone to be impressed by." So we already kind of see Eric from his facial expression, just from early on. We could tell that there's something very, very dark that's happening with him. So Caleb kind of pushes that out of him in a very negative way, unfortunately. So during these tests, let's go through Shelby's past. We find out that, so pretty much everyone's watching, right, the video of the two agents in the room. The people are using the lie detectors. And so on Shelby, she pretty much admits that her parents died during the 9/11 attack, actually on a plane, which is why she carries around the plane part with her at all times. And that's why she's here at the academy, to figure out who is behind it, how to prevent this from happening. So we see someone's motive. Okay, why am I joining the FBI? Which is great. So, well, I mean, it's not great that her parents passed away, but it's great that we're getting more, advancement on that. Okay, and then we see Nima on Simon, who pretty much also grabs him because apparently he lived with Palestinians in Gaza. So that was kind of like a red alert, because at the same time we're figuring out who was behind the 9/11 attacks. So as Alex is recalling what happened during the academy, we're seeing that Simon went to Gaza. That's kind of a red alert, but apparently he just went there to learn more about the people living there. We find out something about Alex, the main character, of course, who Ryan kind of gets it out of her. So apparently Alex had a father who passed away, who was actually murdered, and apparently she took off all relationships with her father on social media. She wanted to cut off all ties with him, and he wanted to figure out why. So in the end, he kind of gets to her where the mother killed the father because the father pretty much had the mother at gunpoint and came home drunk, and it was just a flashback of Alex's mind about how messed up her father was and how he was ruining the family. So the mom killed the father. But we find out in the end of the episode, actually, it was Alex herself who killed the father. So we'll probably get a lot more backstory on that, which is interesting, which is obviously why the motivation Alex came out, because she wanted to know who her father was. Her father was a Secret Service agent. And he definitely had a lot of twists. He was just a twisted guy. So I think she wanted to come and clear that up. And the most important part we get to now is the next video, what they're seeing in the academy. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Just side note, because I think I'm confusing myself. But, yeah. Anyways. So we get Caleb on Eric. And this was a very intense scene. In fact, I wasn't expecting this. Actually, what I was expecting was Caleb to be lying. Because throughout the whole episode, he kept pestering Eric, being like, Eric, I know your secret. I know why you're here. How did you get past security? You're not coming out alive. Things like that. And the way he was saying it was kind of like, okay, Caleb is, again, like Simon, Caleb was also a comic relief in the episode. So I could just tell he wasn't serious. But apparently Eric was just so boiled up. By the time they got in there, Eric literally blocked the door. He shot the woman who's handling the lie detectors, and that's when I actually jumped out of my seat. I was not expecting him to shoot. I don't know if she died. They didn't clarify that, but he literally shot someone. So while everyone was trying to like get in the door, Eric pretty much holds the gun towards Caleb, and he's like, what do you know? Why are you doing this? And Caleb was like, yo, man, sorry, I was just bluffing. And Caleb actually revealed some of his past, saying that, you know, he doesn't want to leave the academy. He didn't want to fail, which is why he kept kind of lying that he knew what was going on. In fact, Caleb only got in the academy because his parents were agents. So he kind of had to pull from his parents. So Caleb has a lot of pressure from his parents to be in here, which is why he reacted this way. So while Caleb was holding him at gunpoint, there's a lot of terror and screaming, and then Eric is just like going crazy. Next thing you know, he holds the gun in his mouth and he kills himself. Side note, Joshua Safran, who is the creator and showrunner of Quantico, who also created Gossip Girl and Smash, side note, they decided to kill him off. That was like the plan from the beginning, just because also Brian J. Smith, the guy who plays Eric, is on Sense8. He was also on Gossip Girl with Joshua, so they have a good relationship. But apparently that scene when Eric killed himself, that was supposed to be a lot bloodier, and they had to cut it. I think they had to cut a lot of parts out just because it is network TV, and Joshua was kind of really, really upset about that, because that was one of his, like, I guess, hard work scene that he worked hard on. Does that make sense in English? So I guess he was just kind of upset that it had to be cut that way. But yeah, so we get kind of the first character who was killed off. But he has other shows that he's working on. Anyways, so that happens, and that was pretty much a surprise. Everyone's pretty sad. And then another surprise we get afterwards. I mean, after everyone's sad in their morning, and the boss Miranda makes a statement like, "This is gonna only get harder from here. Just learn. The more you say, it's just risky. You can't really trust everyone. It's a good lesson for you." So everyone's kind of looking in Eric's room, missing him. Caleb actually leaves as well. The assistant director called him in after the meeting and said, "Hey, this is what happened. You made him crack, so you're gone." But spoiler alert, if I'm allowed to give a spoiler, whatever, it was already on the internet. Well, maybe I won't say it, but Caleb is supposedly coming back. I mean, he has to. He's in all the posters, so how can he not come back? So yeah, he'll be back to the academy. And we also found another twist that Nima, who Simon's been onto with the whole hijab, why are you wearing it this way? Nima kind of confused about his interactions because he really had it with someone else. Yeah, so Nima has a twin. Her name is Reina. And they have to keep that a secret. So obviously, Nima and Reina, who actually is played by one person, Yasmin Al-Massain, who's actually a really good actress, and she's really pretty, actually. Side note, they are twins. So that's going to be really interesting about why they're keeping that a secret. How is one person staying in there the whole freaking time? I mean, that's kind of hard. And so that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. My prediction right now, early on, is that Simon is definitely going to find out, keep a secret for them, and they're going to kind of be teamed up in that way. But I really like their chemistry. Speaking of chemistry, back to chemistry, I love seeing Simon and Nima's chemistry between the show. Speaking of chemistry, is another No, definitely Ryan and Alex have sexual tension, like I mentioned before. They're going to be a thing. And Caleb, who was coming back, and Shelby are kind of cute together. Shelby was caught looking at Caleb's abs. So, I mean, she was into him. I think in the preview also they were like hooking up. So, FBI agent incest. So we're wrapping this up. As that kind of happens, we do get now what's happening today. Another twist. They are accusing Alex of doing it. And it's so funny because Priyanka Chopra in all the interviews, she was like, of course they would think I did it, I'm brown. But I mean, unfortunately, it's just that's just the way America is. I mean, we are assuming everyone brown or Muslim or Indian who might be Muslim is a terrorist. Like, look what happened to the clock, the boy who made the clock. So that's just the unfortunate part. But they think she did it. And they actually knew it. They knew that she did it from the moment she walked into the FBI agent academy. In fact, they literally were onto her since the moment she walked into Quantico. Actually, we find out since the moment she left. In fact, when we find out that Alex did it, we see none other than Liam O'Connor's character, Deputy Liam O'Connor, the one who's, below Miranda, the one whose life is, job is on the line. We find out that he actually told Ryan Booth to follow and keep a close eye on Alex. So the whole setup and the plane next to each other, that was a setup. But he told Ryan, don't sleep with her again, but that's definitely happening because there's obviously tension and there's likes. And they think that she obviously is something shady behind what will happen. So they arrested Alex. And apparently, while Alex was kind of getting questioned, she found a note saying, keep stalling. So obviously someone was helping her, We find out who it was. So when they arrested Alex was like pleading, like, don't do this. I have no ties to terrorist groups. Like, why would I have anything against America? And in fact, they showed her video footage of bombs in her apartment, obviously, or maybe not. She was framed, who knows? And they found Ryan Booth allegedly killed in the apartment with a gunshot that matches her gun. So she was like, why would I kill Booth? I had sex with him. Why would I be having terrorist groups? Like, I think I'm mentioning a lot of sex stuff. Sorry, guys. Why would I don't have any ties, this and that. Like, why do you think I did it? And then Liam O'Connor's character was there and she's like, thank God, like, you're here, you're on my side. And he was like, no, I'm not, you're arrested. All that crap. So she goes in the car and she's crying, and the next thing you know, Miranda Shaw's character, the lady in charge, the boss, is driving the car, and I was like, yes, girl power, females working together, go against men who make false claims, whatever. I guess that was the point. So she's trying to help her escape. So she throws her the FBI clothes. They like get in some car chasing scene, which is like everywhere. I'm never really into those car chasing scenes. Blah, 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 blah. Bam. She tells Alex to run. So Alex literally puts on the clothes and you see Alex kind of like blending in, camouflaging, which is actually a pretty cool scene. Camouflaging amongst the other FBI agents and just escaping. And then the very last scene we see is the flashback of Alex and Liam O'Connor, who let Alex get arrested. Alex telling him, actually, my mom wasn't the one who killed my father. It was me who killed my father. He had something shady going on, a Secret Service agent. I don't know what he did. I don't know who he is, but that's why I'm here at Quantico. And I want to find out, can you please help me? So that's when Liam took charge and investigated a little bit about her father and said, you might not like what you hear, but I will do what I can for you. So, what's the last scene? Alex arrested this terrorist. Yeah, that's pretty much it, except, sorry, I did forget one tiny thing. The reason why Eric was so distraught about his past was because he actually slept with a 14-year-old girl while he was on mission. and they had an abortion. So she died during the abortion. He didn't really want anyone knowing. So that's when Miranda was just telling Liam O'Connor, the deputy, you know, how could you let this happen? I don't trust you. Your job's on the line. So I feel like this gave incentive to Liam to do something right, you know, which is why he had Booth spy on Alex, which is why they're spying on Alex from the beginning, and they're on to her. That was pretty much the first episode. I don't think I missed the big parts. Again, let's go into, I can just go into news and gossip right now a little bit, and then we can lead to predictions to kind of end it off. But this actually did well on Sunday night. It got a 1.9 rating among adults, and that's actually pretty impressive against Sunday Night Football, you know, and actually Sunday Night has a lot of other shows in different networks, so I think it got a pretty decent start. Just kind of like some things about P-Chopes. Us Indians call her P-Chopes, Priyanka Chopes. She did 50 films in India, actually 49 films. I actually never really was that fond of her in Bollywood. Like, she really, when I looked at her, I don't think of her as a Bollywood actress. But she's really talented. You know, I think the reason why she got so much recognition here is because of her roles in Bollywood. She wasn't the typical damsel in distress. She was someone who took a chance on roles. She did a lot more variety of roles, a lot more female empowered roles in Bollywood. And she actually did a lot of deals out here. She became guest girl. She did a song with Pitbull and will.i.am. So a lot of that recognition in America, actually ABC went to her in India and said, hey, listen, I want you to have some sort of, they had a holding deal with her. So she looked at 27 scripts, Priyanka Chopra, and she found that this one, Quantico, was the one that spoke to her. But she said, hey, listen, I am not doing this show unless it goes my way. That's pretty much what she said. She didn't want to be typecasted, you know, as that Indian, just like Kunal Nair is on Big Bang Theory, unfortunately. She wanted to be just a role, not because she's Indian. And I like that. I think a lot more of that diversity ABC is appealing to. In fact, Hollywood should be appealed to. The show in itself, it has a pretty diverse cast. I mean, well, it's Priyanka's character and Nima, who plays a Muslim, but yeah, I think it's a step for Hollywood, I guess, showcasing those two. But what was I saying? So yeah, she pretty much loved this, and they didn't typecast her in a box, which I really liked. And it's so funny because during her audition, the creator, the showrunner, and the casting director were like, she looks too glamorous walking in that door, you know? Like, she had like all these assistants and stylists with her, and they're like, is she really gonna fit this role? Which is so interesting because she has that Bollywood glam. How can she fit this role of kind of being down in the dirt character? But as opposed to some negative reviews, I think she definitely fit and she has potential. So I am one proud Desi, one proud Indian. Chak the India. Do you have any Indian songs? I don't think you do, but it's in my head. Jay's like struggling. So that, I think that's pretty much interesting notes on Priyanka's end. Anything else that I saw, news and gossip? I think that's pretty much it. There you go. Hoy! This isn't Priyanka, but that's okay. Okay, that's enough Bollywood for one day. I actually love this song. Okay, fine. Party's over. Predictions!
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Oh, God. So, predictions! Alright, predictions! Okay, so, Ryan Booth and Alex Parrish will definitely get something going. No matter if Deputy Liam wants Ryan to have a close eye on Alex and, assume that she is the one behind the 9/11 attacks. Like, even in the promo we saw in the next week's episode, he really believes that she's innocent. So there's going to definitely be a lot more romance building there. In terms of who is behind the 9/11 attacks, see, the thing is, I think that Liam found something really shady with Alex's father. as well, which is added on to her. In fact, maybe Alex's father always had something shady going on, you know, which is why they're really keeping a close eye on Alex, thinking she's there to finish his position. You know, she's there to finish his mission, her father's mission of something. So I think that it could be Alex's father behind what's actually happening. You know, the whole 9/11 attacks. I don't know. I mean, the whole twin thing going on with Nima and Rima. I don't know. I might be wrong saying this, but I just think that it wouldn't be them, just because it'd be too stereotypical in a way. You know what I mean? Like, let's get real, people. In terms of anyone else, I mean, hey, it could be a huge twist, and maybe Liam O'Connor himself is behind it, and he's trying to frame Alex. In fact, Booth's death in that video was not really him dying. That was just a staged gunshot in the head. So I think actually Deputy Liam is behind all what happened. He's shady and Alex's father might have known Deputy Liam. Okay, I can go on about this, but I'll stop there. Maybe Deputy Liam and Alex's father had something going on. So Liam's trying to cover that up and frame Alex. In terms of everyone else, Caleb is coming back, like I said. There's going to be some ooh la la with Shelby and whatever else. Simon and Nima will be like BFFs. Simon will find out Nima's twin secret. And I think I've had enough talking for like half an hour straight, so I'm going to end with my predictions. But, like usual, please let me know what you think. I hope I did somewhat of a good job today, and you were able to follow on. Don't forget, next week we have a full 4-person panel. It will go on a lot more smoothly, a lot more clearly, and we'll have a lot more opposing opinions to talk about. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching this week's AfterBuzz TV on Quantico. I'm your host, Kanika Lal. Follow me on Twitter at Kanika Lal and on Instagram at YouCanHaveItAll. And don't forget, if you already don't, follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even iTunes for those who listen rather than watch. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz, see you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.